Hello, right now I am going to go ahead and read the Read Natural that you need to do for Wednesday, April, what was it, 22nd, okay? Wednesday, April 22nd. The Read Natural for today is called China's Ancient Buried Army. And the Read Naturals that you're reading today and next Wednesday are going to kind of go along with the social studies that you're also going to be reading. Today you're actually reading another passage about the ancient Indians, but then on Friday and then next week you'll be reading about China and ancient Chinese. So these Read Naturals will kind of go along with that a little bit. Okay. Today's is called China's Ancient Buried Army. Now remember, in these passages there are several bolded words, so those are kind of like your vocabulary words or other important words that you should take note of as you read. Okay, so make sure you take notice of those. There are four of them up at the top where they give you the definitions. Those are probably especially important words for you to know as you read. But before you start reading, you should always look at your questions first. That way that gives you an idea and a focus for some of the information that's important and some of the information that you should look for. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go over your questions, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and read the passage for you. So number one, and this is identifying the main idea, it says, what is the main idea of the story? Now all of those answer choices are going to be in the story, okay, in the passage, all right? But one of them more summarizes the passage. The other two are more specific details. So look for the one that's more of a summary of the passage, okay, or more of the main thing that the whole passage was about, okay? Number two, recalling a fact. Why do tourists arrive from all over the world? So you'll want to take note when it talks about the tourists and why people come there from all over the world. Number three is a vocabulary question, and it says, what does rain mean in this story? And notice how it's spelled. It's not spelled R-A-I-N, it's spelled R-E-I-G-N. And then there are three different definitions for the word rain there, and they all are actual definitions of the word rain, but you have to use the context clues to figure out which one of those definitions actually goes with the passage. Okay? Number four, which parts of the soldiers were most likely sculpted by hand? Now, it doesn't necessarily come right out here and tell you this, but based on the details from the passage, you should be able to figure this one out. So really think about what the passage says for that one. Number five, connecting author's ideas with reader's ideas. It says, why did it take so long to build the army? For that one, there are three blanks there, so I would like you to write a complete sentence there. With capital letter, with punctuation, with a complete thought. Okay. Number six, an antonym is a word that has the opposite meaning of another word. Match each word with its antonym. So you're matching them not with the definition that means the same thing, you're matching them with the definition that means the opposite. Okay. So words you want to look for are warring, toil, unified, eternal, and investigate. Okay, so really look out for those words and figure out what they mean. Then try to think of which answer choice would mean the opposite of that. Okay, number seven. It says number the events below in the correct order. So that's going to be chronologically. So on the blanks, you're going to list 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with whatever happened first. You're going to put 1. Whatever happened second, you're going to put 2, and so on until the last thing that happened, you're going to put 5. Okay, so those are all details that are in the passage. So, really look closely at those so you can get those in the correct order. Number 8, processing information. It says, give 3 reasons to support the idea that Qin Shi Huang achieved his quest for eternal glory. Okay. So you're looking for evidence that's going to support that he achieved his goal for eternal glory. So what are some things that they know now that would back up the fact that he did achieve that quest? Okay. Number 9 then says write 3 facts from the story that support this statement. So you're finding evidence that's going to support this statement. The statement is the ancient army was an amazing archaeological find. So what are 3 things from the story, 3 details that would support that it was such an amazing find? Okay? So make sure you have 3 facts there. Those should also be in complete sentences. Then there is an enrichment activity at the bottom. You do not have to do that, but you may if you would like. And that says, as one of the world's oldest civilizations, China has made many contributions to the world. Read about China and list 3 things that Chinese developed that we use today. And actually, we're probably going to get into that a little bit with our social studies over the next week. Okay? So you can do that if you'd like. You do not have to. So those are kind of some of the main things to look out for as we read. I'm going to go ahead and read the passage now. Once again, it's called China's Ancient Buried Army. Your 4 vocabulary words at the top are artifacts. Artifacts are tools or other objects that people made long ago. We already talked about that in social studies. Sculpted, that means that you carve out of a material such as wood, ice, stone, or clay. Next one is immortality. Immortality is the state of living forever or never dying. Okay, that means you're immortal. And the last one is trench. A trench is a long, narrow ditch in the ground. So a long ditch. Okay. Here we go. In 1974, some Chinese farmers were digging a well for their commune outside the city of Xi'an. As they dug, large pieces of terracotta, a hard-baked earthenware, began to appear. Archaeologists were eventually called to investigate the artifacts. As the archaeologists dug, they uncovered a trench that was about 700 feet long and 200 feet wide. The trench was filled with an estimated 6,000 statues of life-sized warriors, including archers, infantrymen, cavalry troops, and charioteers. In 1976, archaeologists discovered a second and third trench full of figures. These held many horse chariots, cavalrymen with their horses, and foot soldiers. In all, the terracotta army covered an area of 5 acres. All of the figures stood in rows, guarding the tomb of the Emperor of China who lived 2,200 years ago. The emperor's tomb lies nearby in a mound of earth that rises more than 140 feet from the ground. The person responsible for the buried army was Qin Shi Huang, China's first emperor. He unified a warring China and was also responsible for starting the Great Wall of China. He died after an 11-year reign when he was about 49 years old. In his quest for immortality and eternal glory, he wanted a terracotta army to protect him in the afterlife. Historians think that the emperor forced as many as 700,000 laborers to work on his tomb. Building the monument required mountains of raw materials. It took 36 years of toil to build the monument. The quality of work is as amazing as the quantity of work. Many parts of the figures were formed in molds, while other parts were sculpted by hand. There are several styles of facial hair with different combinations of mustaches and chin whiskers. Some people believe that real soldiers served as models, thereby giving each statue's face a unique look. When it was finished, the terracotta army was painted in beautiful and bright colors. After many centuries, the figures now are shadowy gray. 2 million visitors arrive yearly from all over the world to see this artistic ancient army of statues that guard the tomb of a Chinese emperor. That is it. So go ahead, do the best you can with the Read Natural there. Also take note, I will be putting a Google form on Google Classroom if you would rather answer your questions there versus doing it on this hard copy. So that is up to you. You can either do it on the hard copy or you can answer the questions on a Google form. So that'll be up on Wednesday. I hope you have a wonderful day.